As she spoke, Sean played a voice message on her phone. It was that little boy from yesterday, his voice sweet and smart. Auntie Sean, wasn't I awesome? Don't forget the Transformers toy you promised me. And just like that, the last piece of the puzzle clicked into place. So that's how it all went down. My instinct screamed for me to get out of there immediately. But before I could move, she snatched a cup of tea from my hands and poured it over her own head. Then she smashed the ceramic cup at my feet. Shards of porcelain exploded around me, some even cutting my ankles. The tea was cold, long since forgotten, but it still dripped down her face and soaked her blouse. Her hair hung in wet, messy strands and she looked exactly how she wanted to. Pitiful, humiliated, the victim. This woman wasn't just ruthless, she was terrifying. She blocked my way, refusing to let me leave and started screaming. Maggie, what are you doing? Why would you hurt me like this? Her shrill voice echoed through the office. And sure enough, the commotion drew coworkers from every corner. Not done with her performance, she took her coffee and splashed it across her chest. Then, just like before, she scratched at her neck until it turned red and raw. I'd had enough. I slapped her, hard. That was the moment Simon walked in and saw me, standing tall, while Sean looked like a drowned, battered kitten. He didn't hesitate. He slapped me. Maggie, if you don't want this job anymore, then get the hell out. Still sitting, he shoved me aside and swept Sean up in a bridal carry, like a damn hero saving the damsel in distress, and carried her into his office. I stumbled back, crashing into the edge of a desk. The pain shot up my spine and tears sprang to my eyes. The HR manager, who had been hesitant about approving my resignation just moments before, now signed it without a second thought. Simon didn't even glance at the form. While comforting Sean, he scrawled his signature and tossed the paper aside like trash. The finance department, always quick to kiss up to whoever was in power, rushed to process my final paycheck, eager to please their new boss's favorite girl. I still had a stack of client materials that needed to be handed off, so I organized everything and prepared to email it to Simon. But when I logged into my work account, I was already logged out. My entire company email had been deleted. Only one person had the authority to do that. Simon. I tried texting him, then calling him, blocked, phone, messenger, everything. I stood there for a moment, stunned, but only for a moment. Then I packed the last of my things, deleted every trace of myself from the company systems and left without looking back, straight to the airport. As the plane rolled down the tarmac, I leaned back in my seat and forced my eyes shut. But the memory of the last thing I did before leaving would not stop replaying in my mind. Opening Simon's safe. After we got together, I handcrafted a pair of couple's rings for us. He did not want to wear his. Instead, he said he would keep them in his safe and only take them out when we got married. He even created a password I did not know, said it was special, meant for the future. Back then, I had tried countless combinations. Birthdays, anniversaries, nothing worked. Until yesterday. On a whim, I typed in the date of that concert we went to, which just happened to be Sean's birthday. Click. The safe popped open. But the rings were not there. Instead, it was filled with old photographs, carefully kept, lovingly preserved, and a diary. Photo after photo of Simon and Sean, back when they were just 18, smiling at each other, young and stupidly in love. The pictures had started to yellow with age, but the affection between them still burned clear. The diary was full of their teenage love story, day after day of their infatuation. And then, after she left without a word, it turned into pages and pages of heartbreak and longing. No wonder their reunion had been so explosive. No wonder he threw away everything we had. My rings, my gift to him, long gone, probably tossed out like the rest of my existence in his life. Had I known they were already discarded, I would not have opened that safe, would not have forced myself to witness the past he had been clutching to while I wasted years by his side. While he smiled at me by day and dreamed of her by night. They really were a perfect match. Sean, who vanished without a goodbye. Simon never officially broke up with me. He simply went back to Sean as if the past 5 years meant nothing. I gave him everything. I loved him with all my heart for 5 long years, only to realize I was just a temporary amusement for him when he got bored. Sleep tugged at me as my mind blurred between dreams and painful reality. I could not tell anymore, was the Simon who once doted on me real, or just something I made up? He did not love me, yet he took care of every chore at home just so I would not be tired. He did not love me, yet when my uncle called to pressure me to return to Atlanta, he broke out in a cold sweat, begging me not to leave him. He did not love me, yet he still planned a future with me, 2 kids, a dog, a cat. He even picked out the names. But if he truly loved me, how could he not even have the decency to say goodbye properly before jumping back into Sean's arms? If he truly loved me, he would not have stood by silently while our colleagues whispered that I was just some shameless mistress trying to climb the ranks. There was no point obsessing over it anymore. The moment I agreed to the arranged marriage my uncle set up, Simon and I stopped being part of the same world. When the plane landed, both my mother and uncle were already waiting for me at the airport. Darling, finally. I was counting the days till you came home, Mom exclaimed, rushing forward. What's even so great about there anyway? Endless rain, Damp air, you've always had a weak constitution, yet insisted on staying there all these years. My uncle chimed in right after. Sis, you never should have let Maggie move down there. If it were not for my old buddy watching over her, who knows how much she would have suffered. Of course, he meant Simon. He turned to me quickly. So now that you have quit your job and come back to get married, did Simon say anything about it? He always spoke highly of you, told me you were a rare talent. I cut him off with a dry laugh. He only said that to be polite, out of respect for you. Do not take it seriously, uncle. But he shook his head, unconvinced. I know him better than you do. That man does not hand out compliments easily. His standards are sky high. I wonder if anyone will ever meet them again. Back in the day, everyone knew Sean was his unforgettable first love. Everyone but me. I was the fool who held onto a secret relationship with him for 5 years, bleeding myself dry, convincing myself that love meant patience, even in the shadows. Simon used to be my uncle's partner. They called each other brothers. That, he once told me, was one of the reasons he did not want to make our relationship public. He could not stand the idea of going from brother to son-in-law. It made him feel like he was lowering himself. They were the same age. Simon was only 7 years older than me. On top of that, I worked in his company. He had a strict no-office romance policy and he made sure I followed it. We saw each other every single day at work, but he kept our relationship hidden so well, no one ever suspected a thing. So when Sean reappeared, I instantly became the villain, the shameless homewrecker. I did not want to talk about Simon anymore. So I turned to my mom and started acting playful, trying to change the subject. Being back home, eating familiar food, every bite melted away a little of the exhaustion that had been weighing me down for days. My uncle, ever the matchmaker, could not stop singing praises about the man he had chosen for me to marry. According to him, this guy was the perfect catch, flawless from heaven to earth. Funny, that's exactly how he used to describe Simon too. I'd heard it so many times, it made me see Simon through rose-colored glasses. I was so blinded. I chased him all the way to the south, just to attend college near him. Sean had already gone abroad by then. He was focused on building his career. Meanwhile, made it my mission to find excuses to ask for his help, just to get closer. It was inevitable, really. One thing led to another and before I knew it, we were together. The memories flickered in my mind like shards of light, brief, sharp and bittersweet. Without thinking, I muttered under my breath, "Uncle, your judgment really sucks." He burst out laughing. "Maggie, after working under Simon all these years, you still think he's not that bad, right? I'm telling you, Zane Clooney is 10 times the man Simon ever was."